Okay, sorry.
Okay, all right, class. My name's Tyler Draper. We have Sarah and Courtney with us, and this is our Week 4 Math for Teacher Team Teach. And we're going to go over all the different problems and questions that we've worked on this week. Okay, so our first one is this is Courtney Beck's problem. Courtney, how would you find the slope of a line segment?
There are several ways to find the slope of a line segment. One way is to divide the rise over run, which I've shown right here. I started with points A and B, so you'll start with point A, and you will count up the spaces to B, and that'll be your rise, and then you'll count over the spaces to B on the x-axis, and that'll be your run. And then you'll divide the rise over run, so 7 divided by 2, and you will get 3.5, and that's your slope.
All right. All right, and this is my first question.
All right, Tyler, what is a regular shape and what is an irregular shape?
All right, so a regular shape has the exact, all parts of the shape have the exact same distance and angle. So if we look at this problem here, it's asking us to sketch all the possible figures, which on 2A. If we look at one of these squares, a square has 4 right angles, and the length will each be 1 on each side. However, when we look at the shape to the left here, we see that there are different angles when it's irregular. So irregular shapes do not have the same perimeter, and they have different angles. So you can a square, all 4 angles will be 90, and so as we move up, the angles will increase. Okay, and now Sarah's first question. Sarah.
Okay.
Oh, let's see, Courtney, you can ask her this one.
Yeah, I'll ask this one. Sarah, how do you find the missing sum for the circle?
Okay, well, you first start with the information that you are given. So we have 7 in the top left. To find the top right, you take 7 and you're going to subtract that from 15 to get 8. Moving on to the bottom right, you take 8. You're going to subtract that from 20 to get 12. Now the next one on the bottom left, you can do it 2 different ways. You can either take 15 minus 7 or 12 minus 7. Either way, 17 minus 12 or 12 minus 7. But either way, you're going to get 5. And always go back to double check your math. So 5 plus 7 is 12, 7 plus 8 is 15, and 8 plus 12 is 20.
All right, let's see. And now we'll go back to Courtney's next problem. Okay, Courtney, what is the difference between points 1, 4 and 4, 0?
To find the distance, we'll use the distance formula, which I have listed on the slide right here in white. The formula will help you find the distance between the 2 points when you subtract your x's and you'll subtract your y's. And then you use the Pythagorean theorem. So we will get 5 after we put our points into the equation.
All right.
All right, Tyler, what is the correct term for x?
Okay, so we see in this problem that we're trying to identify the numbers in each of the circles, and Sarah just did this problem. So as you can see, we need to identify what is each square. So x in this case is a variable. X holds the value for the top right circle in this equation. So we see that 7 plus whatever in this blue circle will equal 15. So that's what a variable does. A variable holds the flex value in an equation so we can determine the input and the output.
Sarah, what does perimeter mean?
Okay, well, the perimeter is the measurement of the outside of a figure. So whether it's in cubes or squares, there'll be a little measurement, and you just count up how many lines there are, and always put your unit of measurement behind it. So if it's inches, centimeters, feet, always put that behind your perimeter number.
All right, let's see. Okay. Courtney, how does the diameter relate to the radius of a circle?
Well, the diameter is a line that divides the circle in half, and the radius is any line that goes from the midpoint to the edge. So therefore, the diameter is half of, or is, the radius is half of the diameter. So to get the diameter, you would multiply the radius by 2.
All right. Yes.
All right, Tyler, what is the sequence for part B in the numbers?
Okay, so when we think of sequence, we should think of a pattern. If we look at part A, we see that as we continue to increase the pentagonal number, we see that it goes from 1, 5, 12, 22, 35, and 51. So in doing that, we need to understand what the sequence is. So from 1 to 5, we're adding 4. So we'll make sure we remember 4. Let's see. I'm going to try something here. Oh. All right, so oh, let's see, I went to the wrong slide. Ah, goodness, 1 second. All right, I'm going to try something here. Can y'all see when I write on this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so drawing. All right, so from 1 to 5 will be 4. From 5 to 12 will be 7. From 12 to 22 will be 10. 22 to 35, that will be 13. And from 35 to 51 will be 16. Oh, goodness. Okay, I'll get the point. All right, so as we can tell, the sequence number is 3. Each time we move up, we're moving up by 3 figures. So from 4 to 7 is 3, 7 to 10 is 3, and so forth and so on. So each time we're adding the exact amount that we did before, but we're adding 3 to that. So it would be n plus 3. All right, now I'm going to erase this. I'm super proud of myself for doing that. Okay, and all right, now Sarah's problem.
Okay, and on this figure, we're looking for the perimeter. So what we do with the perimeter, as we already learned, is the measurement of the outside of a figure. So for this one, all we would do is count up the length of each tile block, which we get 18. So then our perimeter would be 18.
All righty. Okay, explain how to use the vertical line test.
The vertical line test is a test to determine if a relation of a graph is a function or not. With the vertical line test, if you draw lines on a graph that has a line segment and the lines hit the line segment twice, like on the x-axis, like you can see on this one, the red line, I drew these lines on here to show that this line segment is running through the line twice, so that makes it not a function. And if you'll move to the next graph, we'll see 2 more graphs with line segments, and on both of these you can see that the vertical lines I drew only intersect the line segment once. So that means these two graphs are a function.
All right.
Tyler, why are Floyd and Josie not married? And also, why is Anne not married to Floyd?
Okay, so in this problem, we would make a graph, and we know that if someone is married to one person, then they're not married to another. And we follow through with the steps to determine this. So first, we know that Floyd and Josie are not married from the very first step. Floyd is Josie's brother. So typically, siblings are not going to be married. So that's how we know that Floyd and Josie are not married, because they are siblings. Now, once we work our way through this, we will determine at the end, we have to choose why Floyd and Anne are not married. Well, this last step here reads, Anne's husband is an only child. Well, we know that Floyd is not an only child because Floyd is Josie's brother. So that means that Floyd would have a sibling. Therefore, we find out that Anne would be married to Gus. And that's how we determine that. And there's the steps are here as well, but that's just the short spiel to that. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right, Courtney, how would you calculate the area inside of a circle?
You will use the area equation I put up here to find the area inside of a circle. You have the radius of 6, and since we have the radius of the circle 6, we can substitute it in for r, the radius, and we're going to square 6, we're going to get 36. So 36 multiplied by pi is 3.14. Sorry, I guess on my slide I had the rest of it out, like typed out. But,
I'm going to draw it for you. I'm going to help it for you.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And when we multiply 36 by pi, we're going to get 113.04, and that's how you would find the area of a circle.
You said 100.
113.
Oh.
Or, yeah, sorry.
You're good. I'm super proud of myself for doing this. 113 point what?
26.04, sorry.
04.
Okay.
There it is.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Oh, let me find the eraser now. Maybe. Miss Benzie, if you're watching this, this is the first time I've ever done this, so I'm proud of myself. Okay, back to the mouse. Okay. So I'm done with my questions. So, oh. Okay, is this the right one, Sarah?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, Sarah, how do you use the formula to find the missing term?
Okay, well, we could do it the long way, which would be count each one, find the difference, and add, which is very time consuming. And a lot of us, we just don't have time to sit there and count all of it. So we can use a formula, or the equation is 3n minus 2. And for the n, for the variable, you can put in any number that you want to find on the step. And there's some examples out to the side. So if you want to find the fifth term, you put 5 in for n. 3 times 5 is 15. When you subtract 2, you get 13. And if you follow my arrow down, the fifth number is 13. If you want to try 9 to find the ninth term, same thing, you put 9 in for n. 3 times 9 is 27, minus 2 is 25. And if we look down there at the ninth line, the ninth term in there would be 25. And our last one is 10. You can put 10 in for n. 3 times 10 is 30, minus 2 is 28. And we can see that that's also true, that 28 would be our 10th term.
Alrighty. Courtney, how would you determine the domain and range of a function using a graph?
Okay, looking at the graph, the domain refers to the set of possible input values for the x-axis. So looking at the x-axis, we can see that the line segment will run through all the points on the x-axis. So we will write the domain as negative infinity to positive infinity. And on this side, actually, these the parentheses and these two should be switched because it should be parentheses saying, so it would say that all of the points. And then for the range, which is all the points on the y-axis, we're going to see that on the y-axis it hits 1. So we're going to do 1 to positive infinity. And you can see that over here, the range. And this should actually be the bracket because 1 is included. And that's how you would do that.
So this would be the range, the red area, right?
Yes.
And then
1 to everything.
So that's the
everything
range.
upward is included. Is the range.
And then domain would be all of it, right?
Yes, everything that touches the graph because
it's infinity, right?
it's infinity.
Yep. All right. Oh, let's see. Let me get back to the mouse. Okay. Let's see. All right. Let's see.
Okay, is this Sarah's next question?
Yes, Sarah's next.
Okay, in the addition pyramid, how do you write the equation to solve for the missing values?
Okay, so on here we're given on the bottom row 1, x, and 2. So we're looking for the values in the middle. So we know that 1 plus x will give us whatever's on the middle left, and x plus 2 will give us what's on the right. Now we set that in an equation where it's 1x, or 1 plus x in parentheses plus x plus 2 in parentheses, set it equal to 15, because we know the total of those two boxes will equal 15. So all we do next is combine our like terms, so that leaves us with 2x plus 3 equals 15. Now we want to try to get x by itself, but first we have to get rid of the 3. So to get rid of the 3, we have to subtract 3. Whatever we do on the left side, we have to do on the right side. So we subtract 3 from both sides, which gets us one step closer, and we have 2x minus or equals 12. Now to get y by itself, we have to divide by 2, which leaves us 6. 6 is our answer. So we would have y equals 6. And you can check it because 1 plus 6 is 7, 6 plus 2 is 8. And then when you add 7 and 8 together, it gives you 15.
All right. Let's see.
Oh, that's all of my questions. That was 6.
Okay, that's all of hers? Or, okay.
That was all of mine, yes. Do you have one more, Sarah?
Yeah.
Yes.
What formula would you use to find the 9th term in the dot pattern?
Okay, so the dot pattern, what we see at the first one, is 1 plus 1 plus 1 is the same as 1 times 3. And the same thing for the second one, it's 2 times 4. If you put it in a multiplication statement, it saves a lot of time. You don't have to write the 1 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 1. So our equation that we use is n times n plus 2. And then what we do is whatever term that you're looking for, and I did the 9th term, you just put in for the place of n and multiply through. And we always do inside of parentheses first. So we do 9 plus 2, which gives us 11. And then 11 times 5 gives us 55. So we know from this that our 9th term would be 55.
All right, and that's all of our questions. So we each did 6 questions. And thank you for tuning in. Thank you, guys. Thank y'all. Have a good week.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.